planes, wonderful planes. And their pilots are good too.
So they're going out to meet a bomber for escort duties.
We were flying over clouds. We could not see the ground. And so when our estimated time of arrival over the target came, we found some holes in the clouds and went down underneath the cloud.
And because of the winds and fighting the winds to stay on target, and not doing that successfully, they kind of got blown off target. They missed their rendezvous.
So we're regrouping, and we flew over this airfield. It's a beautiful airfield down there. Runways, nobody on it, nothing doing, no shooting at us. So we accidentally spied two airplanes that was hidden under some trees. And the leader says, let's go get them.
We take them out, then we're doing a great service for our guys. Here are some planes that can't shoot anybody down.
Three of us started in, and the third man couldn't get his wing tanks to drop off, and so he pulled out of the formation and went back to join some other planes. So when we went in to strafe this airfield to get these planes, the same strong wind was blowing us south, and the leader didn't correct for it. We didn't think we had to. And instead of coming out at the north end of the field where we thought these planes, where we'd seen these planes in the trees, we came out over the middle of the field. The place lit up like Christmas. There was some of those 10,000 light points of light that President Bush spoke of 10 years later. These things were not Christmas lights, and they were not welcome lights, they were bullets.
And as Dad's plane was coming around, he said he heard a plink.
And the engine coughed and caught up, and I said, well, the hit didn't hurt the plane. So I continued on across the field because we'd missed the planes that we were going to hit. And I said, well, I'll go around and come back and get them going the other way. Then I noticed flame coming out of the engine. Started flying south, and then the flames got longer and longer. And finally, they were coming around the cockpit. I said, it's time to get out of here.
But of course, coming in to check it out, they're fairly low.
I finally climbed up enough to, high enough that I felt it was safe to bail out.
Gathers up his things because he doesn't want anything that's identifying to him personally left in the plane.
Got rid of my canopy, turned about 3/4 over and started falling out. I was flying with loose parachute straps.
But his straps catch.
And all of a sudden I can't go any further. And I'm just glued there, going nowhere. So I said, I'm not going to sit here. As I climbed back in the plane, sat down, righted the plane, did a faster turnover and fell out. So I wound my legs together and I finally pulled the ripcord and I was clear of the plane, and next thing I know I'm floating down gently.
In the process of floating down, one of the buckle on his parachute clipped his chin, and he said, I must have been knocked out because I woke up blissfully just sailing down.
My mouth is all bloody, and the parachute strap that's supposed to be across my chest is up here almost to make another pair of goggles. Well, I'm coming down over a bunch of woods, a very dense woods. Standing in the trees is not a nice thing, so I said I'm going to try to miss the trees. I pulled on the shroud lines on one side. That's supposed to make the parachute move to that side, just spilling air out. But what they don't tell you is that when you do this, if your rate of descent doubles. I landed in the clear and up there pasture area.
Has the wherewithal to say, okay, where is the enemy? Where am I from direction-wise from this airstrip we just tried to shoot up?
I pulled the chute down and hid it under a bush and started running south. And I ran for about a half an hour till I was good and tired, and could hardly run anymore, but so I suddenly saw a field of the herd of cows. And I said, well, these must be German cows. There must be German soldiers around guarding them. And so I laid down and watched and looked, and after 15 or 20 minutes, I could see no German soldiers, and so I decided I would get further south. But I was going through the herd of cows, and a little boy came running out to me, and he says, "You American, me partisan."
And Dad said his breath catches in his throat because here he is fighting for America. He's in a foreign country. He's been shot down by people who, like many in America at the time, would just as soon kill him. And this child calls him an American, something he's not even called in the country he's fighting for.
And we had been told to, if we got shot down, to try to go for a partisan area. But the partisan areas moved. You didn't know where you were. You didn't know whether one was close to you. And I said, Dobre Tedeschi, where are the Germans? He pointed back north, and he motioned that I should follow him. He took me about a 15, 20-minute run to a farmhouse, and this was the Partisan Health farmhouse, where we were met by two men. They invited me in, and one of the guys went off to Partisan headquarters, and the kid went back to watching the cows, I guess. That evening, a group of men came in. I presume that they were partisans, and we proceeded to drink and pass the time.
One man explains, yes, we are with the partisans, but they ask him for his gun.
I thought about it. I figured he could do more with it than I could. If he's going out to fight these guys on a guerrilla tactics, he could do better with the .45 than I could. Here's the gun. Here's the extra clips for it. So if you're fighting the Germans, you've got a good weapon, and I'm supposedly safe. Now, why was I safe? Because at this period of the war, the Germans weren't interested in controlling every village. They were interested in controlling the main roads and the railroads so they could move supplies and troops in and out. As long as I was in this area and the partisans weren't too active, I was safe.
They are able to get him to a mission that the Allies have for downed pilots.
I got to the headquarters at Galena, and from there I got to Allied mission, manned by British soldiers, the captain and 2 sergeants, to help downed Allied airmen. The town of Topasco had natural hot springs.
So he could get a bath, he could get tended to, hot food, coffee, cigarettes, and chocolate. Dad always loves a little piece of chocolate.
And I stayed at this British mission for about 4 weeks.
He was so restless that one day one of the Yugoslav partisan generals comes in and says, "Who wants to go watch a battle?" So Dad leaves this place of relative safety with food and clothing, and they take a 3-hour horseback ride to a spot on a hill overlooking a valley where this battle will take place.
So I had to wait till the Battle of Bihać was won, which opened the road out to the Dalmatian coast. And I rode out there in a truck and then was airlifted back to Italy in a C-47. I had received orders to go home. And a couple of days later I got to Naples, and it was VE Day.
But one thing it proved. You can't judge a man here by the color of his eyes or the shape of his nose. On the flight strip, you judge a man by the way he flies. Here's the answer to Adolf and Hirohito. Here's the answer to the propaganda of the Japs and Nazis. Here's the answer. Wings for this man. Here's the answer. Wings for these Americans.